Now, before you go out there and purchase a $600 pressure washer or a $900 pressure washer just to wash your car, you should first think about upgrading the current one that you have as far as accessories go. So in today's video, I'll cover about the 5 main things that we do to any pressure washer that we get to make it perform better. We've done this on a $100 pressure washer, we've done this on a $150 pressure washer, and we've done this on a $600 pressure washer. I'll have the links to at least most of what I'm mentioning in the description box down below. So let's go ahead and talk about upgrading your pressure washer. Now, there's no specific order to this list, but there are a few things that you have to upgrade before you can make the next upgrade, right? Like if you want to use the MTM foam cannon, well, you're gonna have to upgrade the gun, and you can't really upgrade the gun unless you upgrade a few other things. So just keep that in mind. Maybe you have a few of these items, so it really depends on where you are with your setup. And one thing I want to do is to make sure it's affordable, right? Which is why I recommend, instead of going and get a $600 pressure washer, just if you're using a $100 pressure washer or a $200 pressure washer, spend the money to upgrade that current unit. Because it's just like a car. If you go out and purchase a 2018 Subaru STI, does that mean you can now take that STI to the track and you'll be the fastest, baddest car there? No, because from after buying that STI, you can still make a bunch of upgrades to the vehicle to make it drive better and perform better. So it's the same concept with your pressure washer. You can go and get a better pressure washer, but even after getting that better pressure washer, there's still things that you can upgrade to make it better. So for the pressure washer in this unit, we're using a Karcher 1700. And just like most other pressure washers, this is the standard hose that it gives you. Now, for years, I actually used this hose. I used everything as it came because I just didn't bother upgrading it. It's when I first started the business. So I would work around the vehicle with this hose. Now, the problem with this hose is that I think it's like maybe 20 feet, 15 feet long. And it's super cheap and it gets kinked up so easily. I mean, if you've used any pressure washer at your home garage, you'll know that, you know, kind of uncoiling it or moving around the vehicle, or if you need to move the pressure washer at all, or if you do anything, these hoses will kink up and it's terrible to move around or to just kind of, you know, set up in your driveway just to wash your vehicle. So this is one of the upgrades that we do, which is upgrading to, there's multiple options out there. We have the Cobra Jet and another brand in the other units. I'll have it linked down below. But we have a 50-foot hose. That way we can keep the pressure washer in one spot, and it's more than enough length to get around the entire vehicle. So we have a 50-foot hose in our mobile unit, so the van can stay in one spot, and we can work basically anywhere because the hose will get to the car. We have a 50-foot hose in the 104 unit, and we have a 50-foot hose here in the 105 unit. So 50 feet for us is a sweet spot of, it's long enough to get to mostly anywhere that we need. 75 feet wouldn't really give us any benefit because we have never had a problem, for the most part, reaching the vehicle with just 50 feet. So with the upgraded hose, we can work further to the vehicle as far as the distance between the pressure washer and the vehicle. It doesn't kink at all, or depends on how you're working it, but the comparison between the OEM hose and then the upgraded hose is a night and day difference. And 3, they're just much more durable. I mean, as soon as you touch the hose that it comes with, it is so, you can just tell how cheap and fragile and brittle it is. Versus the upgraded hose, it just, you can tell the quality difference is there, which means it's gonna last much, much longer. And of all the hoses that we have, none of them have broken or ripped on us. Now the next thing are the quick disconnects. Now if you're doing this as a business like we are, it helps out immensely. But aside from that, it's just the ease of use with quick disconnect. So again, going back to the OEM thing that you get, if you want to attach your hose and the gun, you have to use this and just kind of swivel it on there. Which again, if you don't really care about convenience, or you don't mind it, it's not a big deal. But there's a big difference when you have to pack things up or store things away and you're forced to do this number here every single time versus simply able to just do this. And we have a quick disconnect on everything where it attaches. So we have one on the pressure washer, we have one on here, we have one on the lance, because being able to simply just do this when needed to change things out makes things much easier. So for instance, this is a very typical thing that we do. We need to get the lance onto the gun because it's a big truck or something. So we're going to remove the tip here. We're going to put the lance in, and then we're going to put the tip in, and oh, sorry about that. And just like that, and just like that, we are able to move it. Now we have to, reverse that process. Easy. Well, this part's not a quick disconnect. It is a quick disconnect, I guess you can call it. But the main part is, and then if we need to take it off, very simple. So these quick disconnect style attachments or quick disconnects are very crucial to just make life much easier. I believe we're on number 3, but that's gonna be the gun and then the lance. Again, I'm gonna go back to the same common thread about all these, is that it's just cheap, flimsy, and it's not durable. Sometimes this can be a pain for some reason to finesse it in and to get it hooked on. So with these, I mean, it's just, you're not gonna get the performance out of it comparing it to something like this. Now this one, again, is just as plain Jane as it is, nothing different about it. But this one, specifically this one that we have here, I'm gonna just put this down. We can actually swivel this, so if we're like working on, and we do this a lot, if we're working on a hood, like an engine bay, and it's a big truck, we can turn this around to get a better angle on the hood or basically anywhere. But this in itself helps out a lot when we're working on bigger size vehicles or areas that we can't really reach, or some tight areas like the fenders where there's cleaning the wheel well. It's very easy just to turn this and to get a very easy cleaning on the underside. So number 4 here is the tip itself. Now this is actually the one that the Karcher 1700 came with, and I believe it's your standard 40-degree nozzle. And the only reason I mentioned this one is more so for redundancy's sake, meaning this one here is still a 40-degree nozzle, but the difference is it is being kind of protected by this rubber portion here, so that in the case that just things happen and you brush the gun and it rubs against the paint, or you actually don't secure it into the gun and it kind of shoots off the lance or the gun and it hits the paint, at least you don't hit it with this hard plastic material and you're hitting it with the softer plastic rubber material. Again, does that mean the paint won't get damaged, or if you shoot it towards the glass it won't break it? No, but at least you're giving some level of redundancy that you are still protecting the paint, because accidents happen, it's what things are. So we don't use this all the time though, don't get me wrong, like we don't have it here 100% of the time, but we do have it here because we want to just like, hey, maybe let's just go ahead and just use this one. It's still a 40-degree nozzle if I'm not mistaken, but it's one of those peace of minds if you just want like another layer of peace of mind. Now the last thing I'll touch on here are reels. So if you do have a 25-foot, 50-foot, 75-foot hose, it gets very annoying to have to manually coil it up or set it up or store it away by hand. And the best way to keep things organized and stored, as in whichever way you want, is through an actual hose reel. Now I can get it if you're doing this just as a hobby, weekend warrior in your garage. This may be overkill, but if you have the space, if you have the funds to put it on a reel, it does make the process much easier. So again, we do this as a business. So in our van, we have a 50-foot hose and we have it on a reel. In the shop here, we just purchased a reel. We haven't installed it yet, but we're gonna install it on a reel. Because whenever you can just simply pull out the hose and just walk back and get to work, that's much better, more efficient, and just more comfortable than having to uncoil it or coil it every single time. So if it makes sense for you, if you're able to set it up, a reel will make a world's difference as far as how easy it is to get started and how easy it is to store it. But that's gonna wrap up this video. Let me know in the comment section down below, what are your must-have upgrades for your pressure washer. Again, people are gonna have different setups depending on what they're doing, if it's for a business, a hobby, the resources that they have available, the space they have available. So let me know in the comment section down below what you would do differently than what we do. Other than that, you can check the links in the description box down below for most of the things that I mentioned. And if you want to check out anything else, just either leave a comment or just check the description box. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to everyone on the next one. Bye-bye.